Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming with another kind of final for the moment update on Pillars of Eternity Deadfire. So I've been playing this off and on a bit more, not as often as I was before, partly because I've been busy, partly because I've been playing other games, and partly because I've not really felt I wanted to. So I've progressed quite a bit. I've done a bit more of the story. I'm now in the Blast Citadel, which is part of the big city which I couldn't access before, but I did a few missions and now I can go anywhere in the city. I fell out with the queen of this city actually. There was a mission where you had to make a choice and there was only one obvious choice to make and she wasn't happy, so I don't know if that's going to affect my future in the game. Anyway, so kind of following on to the last video when I was talking about the combat, which is okay, it's not the game's fault, but it's not as much fun as the kind of XCOM combat where you can stealth and move your party all over the place, including in different places to the main party. I don't enjoy it as much. I realised at a certain point that I wasn't enjoying this game as much, and I was kind of doing it because I was doing it. Partly it's probably because I played so much of Pathfinder, Kingmaker and War of the Righteous before that this kind of game was a bit wearing to me now. I don't know, maybe. Although I think if I played another game like XCOM 2 or Phantom Doctrine after playing those for a lot, and I played those much more, I wouldn't have felt it, so maybe it's just this kind of game. But also, I've mentioned in the previous video, I didn't feel invested in this game's characters or story from the very beginning. Now, I know there's an earlier game of this, and maybe that's part of it, I don't know. From my recollection of Pathfinder War of the Righteous, had I played that first, I would still have felt quite invested in the character. Partly it's because of the fact that when you start, it starts very quickly. You're a watcher and you suddenly start talking to the gods, and then you're on this great quest to track down a god, and it all happens very quickly and you're kind of thrown into the story quickly, and that's fine in some games if it's a different sort of game and the story's simple. If you're thrown into a game where you've got to suddenly find out who, I don't know, I'm making something up now, killed your sister, and you've got to find out, or Cyberpunk's like that, you're thrown into this story where you're suddenly in a dump and you've got to work out what happened. That's kind of straightforward because you're you and you know who you are and you're going to find one thing and start progressing from there. But this is very in-depth story. You're going to track down this god and it's like, okay, I'm a watcher, what's that about? And then you've got to track down this god, what's that about? And there's other gods and there's lots of stuff going on that's very big, not just about you, and it's a lot to take in very quickly. And I don't think, like I said, I'm playing this as a noob who's not played the first game either. I don't think that really helps the game. I think, as I said with Pathfinder, so I'm comparing like for like kind of, because XCOM is different. If you play Pathfinder, it eases you into who you are in the game and what you're trying to achieve and who the other characters are. But this kind of throws you in very quickly, and that's not really helpful because the story is much more complex and what you're doing is more complex than in those games, I think. Also, and I mentioned this before as well, I didn't feel in this game that I knew myself or the other characters, so I don't feel like I really understand who I am. I'm a watcher, okay, that's great, but I started off being a watcher very quickly and I was sent off to do this great thing tracking down a god really fast, whereas in, for example, the Pathfinder games, which I think are more comparable to this than XCOM, you're either a mercenary who starts off just trying to do, well, mercenary stuff, or you're a random person that turns up in town when something happens in War of the Righteous. And both those games, you start off small and you grow and you understand kind of why you've grown and what your goals are. But in this, you're thrown into, this is who you are, you've got to do this, you're already the chosen one. And I find that a bit confusing because I didn't really know who I was. I still don't, and I've been playing this game a lot now. Also, I don't feel very invested in the other characters. I can't say why. I've not got a reason. I haven't come to a conclusion. They're not that different again comparing to Pathfinder to the characters in that, but I found those much more memorable. I very quickly felt like I knew some of the characters. Amira is one I remember really well even now, but there's lots that I remembered really, really well and very quickly, and I don't find the characters in this are that memorable. That's not because there's anything exactly wrong with them. I couldn't quite work it out. I was thinking about this before I made the video, and when I think about how they speak, they're all individual, they all have their own personality, so it's not that. I just can't work out why it is, but I don't feel as invested. Maybe it's because they're all a bit, and this is a weird thing to say, maybe they're all a bit nicer and less controversial with each other. So what I mean by that is in Pathfinder, both the games, you work out very quickly that some of your characters aren't very nice, some of your party aren't very nice, some of them have not very nice motives, not very nice backstories. There's a whole line of them that try and betray you different times, and a lot of them don't get on with each other a lot. In this, they're all pretty much geared to doing the mission. They're all pretty decent, and a few of them are different factions, so they don't quite see eye to eye, but it's not the same. Maybe that's it, I don't know. But I don't feel as invested in the other characters either. If you told me now to explain the motivations of any of these other characters I'm with now, I couldn't really tell you. I know that a couple of them came because they're from different factions that wanted them to come with me, but I can't explain what those factions were. That's another thing about this game. There's a lot of factions and trading companies and different peoples that you get sort of thrown in with very quickly, and you have to try and remember who they are and what they're doing, and they're always referencing them in the game, but I find it hard to remember which one's which and why, what they're doing. So again, there's a lot of things to think about in this, and it doesn't do it gradually, it does it very quickly. So for all those reasons, I realised that I was kind of playing this because I'm playing it, not because I was really enjoying it. It's just like, okay, I'll play a turn-based game, so I'll play this one because it's the one I've got at the moment. Well, I've got lots, but this is the one I've been playing at the moment. So I decided to give it a break and come back to it another time, and that's not to say I'll play it again, but I decided to give it a break and go to another turn-based game. I haven't decided which one, but yeah, I just decided that it wasn't really sparking my enthusiasm for all the reasons I mentioned. It could be any one of them, it could be all of them, and at a later point when I feel more motivated to play this game or this kind of game, I'll come back to it. Anyway, so that's my kind of final for the moment thoughts on Pillars of Eternity Deadfire. Till next time, take care for now.